the ethanol. You know, there's all kinds of vagaries, of course, of arguments that were fleshed out in the mid-90s when I did the ethanol mandate in the state of Minnesota. A 10% mandate in the state is what I did in the legislature with a lot of help from a lot of people. We're one of the few states that have a very mature ethanol industry that actually is about $9 billion worth of economic development in the state of Minnesota. That's huge in these down times. And when we have people that have 90% of the fuel in the tank, that's oil, gasoline, we got 10, and we have customers that are listening to the oil companies, we still have to do a much better job of telling our story of why we need independent food sources and why we need independent fuel sources. And one of the other things that we have been pushing with growth energy and also international policy, we have a country of origin of labeling on food. We would like to have a country of origin labeling on renewable fuels. I'm not interested in Venezuelan or Brazilian sugar to do renewable fuel from a foreign country. That was never the purpose of the ethanol and the biofuels movement within this country. Just like independence of food. You think for 1 minute, if there's going to be a famine in some country where we're depending upon their food to come in and feed us, you think they're going to support and import or export to our country so that we can feed our people? If you think that, you're nuts. Okay? Not yet.
Well, there was an article in that
Not yet.
Okay.
Thank you. I just want to also say that this issue on Department of Justice has been an issue with National Farmers Union and Minnesota Farmers Union for years, forever. We're finally moving, and when we were with the White House in our fly-in, Marvin, you might remember that, we were moving into that White House, actually had the Department of Justice and the Department of Agriculture talking about things that need to be talked about. It's not that free market system where there's one dog at the top of the pile, everybody's trying to get up there to get a piece of that market. It's true and fair competition and fair trade across the board. And that is part of that Department of Justice issue on concentration. And when you only have 4 buyers, and many days 2 buyers in the grain pits or 2 buyers at the sales farm, there's no price discovery at all. And if we think that's a fair and a competition, a free market, that doesn't work. Farmers are always buying retail both ways, and they're selling wholesale. So it's kind of interesting. Now, Marvin, you got?
Well, there was an article in Ag Week. It was written by some Brazilian, and of course his big pitch was that they could produce ethanol so much cheaper in Brazil than we could, and all we had to do was knock off the tariff, and everything would be great. But it's exactly the same thing. We'd just be dependent on Brazil instead of Arabia, you know. But the other thing, you talk about fair, they could produce it cheaper. Yeah, but they're paying their people down there dirt, you know. They're not paying any taxes to ripping out rainforests. You know, there's a lot of things. If you want fair trade, make them pay their people the same thing our people get, and make them pay Social Security and everything. And that would be a good thing if the people got that. So.